Good morning. Welcome today to our webinar titled 4 Tips for Running a Successful Enrichment Program. I'm Jeannie Chai, the community manager here working with schools and vendors to help you guys have a great year. So I'm going to get started. The first thing I want to discuss is what does it mean to have a successful enrichment program? How do we define success? And here at Activity Hero, we call it having a stress-free year. This can mean different people for different things to different people. Parents, first, don't like missing signups. They don't like worrying about lost checks and forms. Sometimes they sign up and they don't hear back whether their child got a spot or not, and so they don't like waiting for confirmation of registration. And then one of the worst scenarios is if there's a canceled class due to low enrollment. That's one of the things that parents do not like to deal with. How about for vendors? We've heard from vendors that they have a hard time getting the class list accurate on the first day of enrichment classes. A lot of times they're not even sure if a student should be there if they paid or who's supposed to be in what classroom. So there has to be a better way. They also deal with lost checks. Inevitably, some people don't pay and checks get lost in moving back and forth between classrooms and mailboxes, and so that is something difficult to work with. And finally, they also do not like canceled classes due to low enrollment. How about coordinators? Most of you who are on the webinar today are enrichment coordinators for your schools, and you love working with people. That's why you're in the role. You want to create something great, but at one point there are too many emails and too many phone calls from parents who are asking you, is there availability in this class? Did Sue get in? Do I need to change sessions? Can I get a refund because now my schedule suddenly doesn't work with this class? And these all come at the same time so that you're trying to figure out what is a better way to handle all these requests and take care of them. Sometimes you have to work with difficult vendors and you wish you knew in advance that this was going to be such a difficult experience and perhaps gotten some feedback before hiring this vendor. If you are a coordinator who takes checks and registrations from parents, that is a big role. I'm going to try to convince you not to do that because most of the times I hear the following year there'll be a big sign on the web page that says, we no longer take checks. You must go to the vendor directly. And there's a reason for that. That's one of the great stresses that coordinators have to face. And again, across the board, you don't want to have canceled classes due to low enrollment either. This is, again, sad for parents, sad for the students. People have to scramble to figure out what to do with that time slot, and then vendors, of course, might even get angry at you. So as we look today for 4 tips for running a successful enrichment program, those things we just talked about, those are the scenarios that we're trying to eliminate. We don't want to have canceled classes. We want to eliminate stress for parents, for vendors, and for you. And so here, in a nutshell, are the 4 things that we're going to share with you today based on talking to lots of coordinators across California, things that will really make a change and make it easy for you to run your enrichment program. So 1 is set your session dates. 2, find great vendors. 3, make signups easy. And 4, promote activities year-round. I'm going to go in detail about each of these and what that means. First, this is a sample schedule of what your school's enrichment class schedule might look like if you were just to say to your vendors, please send me what your class schedule looks like. Notice that there's no clear start and end date. Notice that some vendors have 2 sessions throughout the year and some have several. This is a nightmare both for you to communicate to parents when classes are going to be happening, as well as a headache for parents who don't have a regular sign-up session, who don't know when a specific class that they want, maybe dance, and they might miss it. And so this is not a recommended way to run your programs. Instead, we suggest that as your enrichment coordinator for your school, you feel confident that you can say, this is what is going to make it easy for everybody at the school, vendors, parents, and me included, so that here's our calendar schedule. We want to start classes the 2nd week of September, and you can end anytime you want. But if we're going to offer a next session, that has to start this week in January. It can be Monday or Thursday, but it has to be this week. And finally, again, maybe in March or April, you have a 3rd session. And again, this is the week we're starting classes. If you do this, I guarantee you'll get higher enrollments. You will also have less chaos to handle in terms of signups that are coming in at all times of the year. So this is the number 1 tip to help synchronize all your classes. And vendors, at first, if there's pushback, let them know that we understand this is the best way for you to get full classes. And so don't be afraid, again, to do that and explain why you need to have a set schedule. All right? Tip number 2, how to find great vendors. Activity Hero can be a resource for you. We've worked with vendors throughout the Bay Area as well as nationally, and we can tell you what experiences they've had at schools and with different districts. And so we can also connect you with other coordinators in your school district so that you guys can share ideas. Sometimes there is very little communication. We don't know why that is, but if you have the coordinator support, you guys can share ideas, you can share tips, and find out together where to get the best vendors. 3 is make signups easy for everyone. For parents, that means they get to save time. For vendors, save hassle. And coordinators, we try to take away some of that tedious admin work. When we did a survey last month, we asked parents, what is the most important thing that you're looking for when you book and register for a class for your kids? And the surprising answer was the schedule. Not what kind of class or cost or even location, but they want to know, does this class happen at a time that fits with my current family's schedule? And so the greatest thing you can do as a coordinator is make sure on your school website you have something that looks like this, where it is listed by day of the week, the times are clearly listed, and the age group eligibility is clearly listed as well. In addition, if you use Activity Hero's free scheduling tool, we can offer you this view here that shows you availability so that parents can know if their child is already waitlisted, if there are a few spots left, or if there is plenty of room. This again will help to eliminate numbers of emails and phone calls to you and to the vendor so that everyone is clear on whether there is still space. The next thing you can do to make signups easy is offer online registration. Not everyone will opt for that, and we highly suggest that you still use checks as an option for families who don't have access to email perhaps, and to ensure equity in terms of signups. However, for the other parents who have an iPhone, iPad, and are on it all the time, we suggest that there is an easy way to offer online registration for all your vendors so that there's no more PDFs, no more stamps, no more things to mail, and that way it also offers an automatic confirmation for your parents. Usually online registration is synced up so that there is an email that can be sent to your parents that says you got in, Brittany has a spot. And so parents want to know if they need to make alternate plans if they can't get in, and so automatic confirmation reduces the stress for parents. Let's review. 3 tips so far is number 1, as a coordinator, set your session dates. Be very confident and let vendors know we think this is the best way to run our program and to help you get the most students possible. So here is our schedule. Number 2 is find great vendors, either by asking Activity Hero or asking us to help you coordinate with other schools in your district so that you all can work together on sharing your ideas and best tips. And finally, make signups easy. And that means quite a few things. 1 is to have a schedule very clearly on your school's website so parents can see right away, if I have a Tuesday slot, what classes are being offered on Tuesdays. Number 2 is have online registration and payment optional so that parents can have an easy way to register when it's convenient for them. They don't have to come in person. They don't have to look for printer, ink, and toner and find stamps. That is definitely another way to increase enrollments, is if it's convenient, parents will sign up. And then finally, to make signups easy, make sure that the classes are being registered for 3 times a year and not off and on all year long. Finally, the 4th tip to help promote your enrichment program is remember that it's a year-long communication process and not to give up after August. So these are the best practices we've heard on how to keep the excitement going for your classes and keeping them filled. Number 1 is a vendor fair. By this we mean at the beginning of the year there's usually an ice cream social or some kind of back-to-school night where students and parents all have to come on campus to get their classroom assignments or their teacher, instructor, and find out who's going to be teaching them this year. What I suggest you do is piggyback on that and invite your vendors to come out, set up a booth. They will get to introduce their classes, they can show off their curriculum, and actually meet the kids, get them excited. This, we hear from coordinators, is the number 1 tip that we can do to increase enrollment and to make sure everyone knows about the wonderful program you've put together. And being July, you still have some time to make those phone calls after you get off this webinar and invite your vendors to come over on that one day. Number 2, even though we recommend online registration and we are all for going green, we also recognize that sometimes parents aren't in the habit yet of using an app or looking for online registration at a certain place or a certain tab on your school's website. So we highly recommend that you continue to print paper schedules, at least maybe 3 a year. One at the beginning of the year that includes all your enrichment classes, and then the next session maybe in January. Send another flyer home that says this is when registrations start for enrichment classes and these are the classes available. And then again in the spring, if you're offering that, another paper schedule. This is because we are in the habit of putting these things in our refrigerator and seeing it every day reminds us, oh yeah, I have to sign up. So this is a great way to have that physical reminder and to make sure your classes are filled. And then finally, we suggest that you email parents as well. If there's already a regular communication tool they're used to, continue to promote your classes, talk about vendors, talk about what is different about these classes you're offering so that parents can keep up the excitement and know when and how to register for these classes. Also, at the end of the year, if a vendor uses Activity Hero, we send an automatic feedback sheet for parents so that you as a provider or you as a coordinator can know how that class went. This is great for getting feedback from them, for getting thank yous for you for creating this great program, and also for building excitement for next year. You can ask them for suggestions and begin your search early so that this becomes a collaborative effort, and you're also building excitement so that this enrichment program can be part of every child's experience at the school and offer a lot of outside opportunities that might not have been part of your school before. So the 4 tips that we've discussed today are 1, set your session dates, 2, find great vendors, make signups easy for everyone, including yourself, and finally, promote your activities year-round, starting with your vendor fair, maybe a couple weeks from now, and then throughout the year through emails and through take-home flyers that clearly describe what programs are being offered. So here is the shameless plug from me that you've probably been waiting for the whole time. Activity Hero now has an app that you can download from the App Store, and it will allow you to register anytime, on the run, on the go, waiting at the dentist office. This is a great way for parents to do things that in a way that's convenient for them. It's great for vendors and it's great for coordinators. Minimally, remember that what parents want most is they want a schedule. And so what I'm offering you for today is a free schedule that looks like this that can be embedded into your school's enrichment page. This is, again, a free service for vendors and for you and for parents to use. It basically just puts together a calendar format of the classes that you're offering for the parents. And if you choose to have your vendors use registration through Activity Hero, which we highly recommend, that is an additional 3% cost for them. Usually if they're already taking online registration, PayPal runs around 2.9%. So for the cost of just PayPal, we offer them an incredible back-end set of tools that allows for automatic confirmation, automatic rosters, also automatic email lists. So it saves them a lot of time. Oftentimes vendors who have learn about us through a school and use it for their school, love us so much they come back during the summer and use Activity Hero registration for all their summer camps. And so we highly recommend that you synchronize this for your schools, but minimally get the schedule. To do so, all you have to do is email me at schools@activityhero.com and give us a list of your vendors, or I'll communicate with you what we need, and then we can get that one line of code to you within just a few days, especially if you get started now and not wait till there is a big crunch in mid-August. So if you have any questions, I am able to answer that after we finish here, and thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful year.